What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday afternoon so far. NYG Jeffy T85 here, and it looks like that AEW is going to be getting ready to start taping their shows for Ring of Honor and Rampage. Obviously, we know about the big announcement that is upcoming for AEW right now in terms of Collision. It is widely expected tomorrow on AEW Dynamite that Tony Khan, president and owner of AllElite Wrestling, Tony Khan, is going to make the announcement about AEW's Collision's debut date, which is set to be taking place in the United Center on June 17th in Chicago, Illinois, and is supposed to be featuring the potential and predicted return of CM Punk as the main attraction on that show on that date, and Collision will be named as their new second flagship show on Saturday night at 8 to 10 p.m. on TNT. But what does this mean for some of the other shows that are going to be happening in terms of AEW Rampage and Ring of Honor, which are now pretty much, because we all know about the news that happened yesterday with the fact that AEW has discontinued AEW Dark and Elevation as of at least a couple of weeks ago. Those shows no longer exist. They were not under the Warner Brothers Media umbrella, so those shows no longer exist under the AEW umbrella. And now AEW is going to be looking to format Collision and Dynamite as their main two shows on their AEW programming, as well as they're going to be having AEW Rampage, which is right now, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, and there's going to be more news from Meltzer coming up, they are looking to turn Rampage, which is exclusively pretty much been on TNT, from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Friday night, a dead spot. Rampage has not really worked out since its inception back in August of 2021. Rampage right now, the AEW is looking to turn Rampage into a Sunday Night Heat type show. So sort of like what Monday Night Raw had with Sunday Night Heat the day before, Rampage is sort of going to be like that for Collision, and Ring of Honor is going to be pretty much a type of show, not not quite like Dark or Elevation, but it's going to be a show utilizing a lot of the younger talents on that show and trying to get them over and get them to the next level on AllElite Wrestling programming going forward. Now, in terms of what AEW is doing, in terms of their push and how they're going to be operating with Rampage and Ring of Honor tapings around Collision when the show makes its debut next month, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Wrestling Observer Radio reports that Ring of Honor television tapings will also continue to take place on Saturdays immediately following Collision. So right now they are expecting that Collision is going to be happening first, and then immediately after that, you're going to be having the Ring of Honor tapings. They're going to be happening directly right after you are done with AEW Collision. So at around 10, like a little bit after 10 o'clock, when Collision comes to an end, that's when you're going to start getting the tapings for AEW Ring of Honor tapings overall. And this is fitting because Ring of Honor has historically taped their televisions on Saturday, so it has a correlation from what Ring of Honor used to do back in the day when it was under a different ownership at the time, and it remains to be seen whether the new arrangement will impact Ring of Honor's weekly show. So it's possible that they could end up having to move Ring of Honor from its original time, which has originally been on Thursday nights. Could they eventually move the show to a different date? It's possible. Or could they just end up taping the show on Saturday night after Collision and then end up doing what they did before and just moving the show and keeping it on Thursday at that certain time slot? Because besides Impact, there's really nothing going on the wrestling calendar on Thursday, because obviously you have Monday Night Raw on Monday, you got NXT on Tuesday, you got AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, you got Impact now on Thursday along with Ring of Honor. Friday you have SmackDown and Rampage, and then Saturday is going to be set for AEW Collision. So you're going to have a show separate for all those different dates going forward. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly Tony Khan and Warner Brothers Media are going to do in terms of the time slot and how they're going to be continuing the Ring of Honor television tapings if they're going to keep it on Thursday or if they're going to decide to move that show to a different date moving forward. That's going to be one of the biggest questions. Now, in terms of Rampage, Rampage will continue to be filmed on Wednesdays following Dynamite, along with some dark matches. So right now it sounds like that dark matches are going to start becoming a thing, sort of like what WWE does with main event. You know, before, WWE always has a main event type show right before they go on the air with SmackDown or Raw every Monday and Friday to feature some of the younger talents or some of the NXT talents that are getting an opportunity to showcase their skills to the audiences off camera before the WWE goes live with Raw and SmackDown. So this is what AEW is essentially doing too, with talents that are either not being booked on the show at the time or younger talents looking to see if they can get over on television before they go live. This is what these dark matches and, in a way, what Rampage is going to be doing going forward overall. So Meltzer continues to say that Rampage will continue to be filmed on Wednesdays following Dynamite along with some dark matches because AEW had to nix AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation because WarnerBrosDiscovery has not exclusive rights to AEW content with their new deal. Obviously, that being the case, and with Warner Brothers Discovery expected to make the announcement of AEW Collision official during their upfronts this week, this is an exciting time for AEW fans, especially for those who are looking for more pro wrestling to watch throughout this week. And of course, AEW Collision is also an interesting spot because they will compete with WWE pay-per-views from time to time, and WWE has migrated to Saturday pay-per-view dates for past year or so, and now this is the norm. Only time will tell if Tony Khan combats this situation when it comes around. So you can obviously see some preemptive time movements for AEW Collision if in fact they go against a WWE pay-per-view. And AEW has also been doing a lot of pay-per-views on Saturday as well during especially the NFL season because they don't want to compete with Monday night or Sunday night football. So that's another thing too, is when we get to the NFL season down from September until December, will we start seeing AEW Collision be preempted to another time slot because of the fact that they're going to want to maybe run some of their pay-per-views on Saturday, and then Collision can maybe get moved to a different time slot in order to run the show. So that's going to be another thing to look forward to. Or could they run Collision before we get to the pay-per-view? So that's another thing that we can look forward to seeing. But right now, it sounds like that Ring of Honor is going to be run right after AEW Collision at the moment on Saturday nights at around 10 p.m. afterwards on television tapings. And it's right now dependent if AEW will continue to run Ring of Honor on Saturday or if they will decide to, or on Thursday, or if they decide to move the show to a different time slot, while Rampage will continue to be taped right after Dynamite goes on the air every single Wednesday. And they're also going to be featuring some dark matches on that day on Wednesday because of the fact that AEW Dark and Elevation no longer exist because of the fact that AEW and Warner Media don't have exclusive rights to that type of footage because it's a fact it's part of YouTube. So a lot of good things happening around AEW, a lot of big time news happening around AEW. Myself, Earl Cole, the Hardcore Sports Network, we will be live for AEW Dynamite tomorrow night at 7:50 on the Hardcore Sports Network, Let's Talk Sports, and All-Star Sports Network. We'll also be live next week for the go-home show for Double or Nothing for AEW Dynamite. And we will be live next Sunday night for AEW Double or Nothing that will be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada for AEW Dynamite that will feature the Four Pillars Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW World Championship. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Sub up to NYG Jeffy T85. More news, updates, and chatter surrounding All Elite Wrestling. Turn on the bell for notifications. The next video is short dropping on the channel for All Elite Wrestling. If you enjoy the video and enjoy the content, hit that super thanks button. Helps out the channel, helps out the content. Appreciation for the content creator. Always love the support you guys always give me. And let me know in the comment section what you think about the future tapings that will be happening for Rampage and for Ring of Honor going forward in All Elite Wrestling. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Take it easy, and let's see what All Elite Wrestling has for cooking for us on Dynamite tomorrow night, Rampage on Friday, and leading up to Double or Nothing next Sunday night in Las Vegas, Nevada.